The modern social media landscape breeds dissatisfaction with your life. I mean, why would you be happy with a well paying 9 to 5 job? This guy is traveling the world with supermodels and making more than you in half the time. Why would you be okay with your one bedroom apartment in a run-down but safe area? You know so and so online who lives in a penthouse in downtown Miami. There's always someone better looking, wealthier, happier, and better than you in basically every way, and you see this through their self-publicized adventures on platforms like Instagram. And you wish you were them. You long for the fame, the fortune, the girls, the physique, and the positive mindset that all of these people have. And I get it, the lifestyle looks amazing. But what if I told you that they probably long for what you and I have? The beauty of being unknown. Because here's the thing, a large overwhelming majority of the people that you see on social media are conformists. People who, by definition, conforms to a behavior accepted by the masses. Their entire online brand is based around not what they want to do, but what they expect other people to want to see. While again, there are always exceptions to rules like this, and there are no doubt some very authentic people who are famous on social media, a lot of the mainstream ones are at least somewhat of a conformist. So let's dive into this conformity thing and explain why it's a recipe for disaster and why, at the end, there is that sort of beauty of not being known. Let's say you have a gaming channel on YouTube. You post what you love for a few years, and people really start to enjoy it. But, well, it's now been 3 years of making the same type of content, and you want to change it up. So you try something new, something that this evolved version of you enjoys playing, talking about, or exploring. But, well, your audience doesn't like it. So, because you got hooked on the possibility of money, views, subscribers, and the need for endless growth, you go back to the old type of content that you've been making this whole time. You keep pumping out stuff that you don't want to make, and you start to hate it. You get lazy, your videos start declining in quality, and because of this, your viewers lose interest and start switching to watching channels that do what you do, but actually enjoys it. So, the quality of the content on these other channels is way better than yours, which causes your channel to look even worse until it slowly declines and eventually starts to die. This new YouTuber that your subscribers have switched to has the advantage here. Why? Because he isn't making content to conform. He's doing what he enjoys. His advantage is the same one that you had when you started, and since you conformed instead of embracing this type of content that you truly enjoy making, you lost. This sounds hyper-specific, but guess what, my friends? This was literally me on my main channel. I gained 450,000 subscribers and was pumping out subpar content just because I felt like I needed to, and it caused my channel and my mental state to decline. And this brings me back to the beauty of being unknown. See, the external pressure that comes from being known causes you to act not in your own interest, but in the interest of the people who know you. I didn't switch content styles because people wanted to see the version of me that they already knew. And that's why I started this channel, to have a clean slate and to do whatever I want with no pressure. And this doesn't only have to be related to social media fame. Think about the limitations that are sometimes put onto you by the expectations of family members and friends. Maybe you want to move to a new city, but your parents will judge you if you do. Maybe you want to pursue your passion in art, but you keep hearing advice from people who tell you that it doesn't make enough money. Maybe you want to date a girl that you really like, but your friends don't like her as much as you, so you decide to sit it out. There are countless examples out there of how external social pressures can cause you to live a life not authentic to yourself, and this is one of the reasons why there is a sort of beauty in being unknown. I keep touching on that, so let's actually dive into it. See, when you're unknown, you don't have the social pressures of conforming to other people's expectations. You can embrace your inner curiosity and desires and do what you want without caring about what the rest of the world thinks. Sure, you can still do this if you have friends and family, but at least for me, it is nearly impossible to live a 100% authentic life without caring at least a little bit about other people's reactions to it. I mean, look what happens when you see a celebrity or social media star do something that doesn't quite fit their brand identity, and look at the number of people who judge them for it. And even if you aren't famous, guess what? You still have a personal brand, and people will sometimes judge you when you do things that don't align with that brand. Regardless of the scale of how known a person is, not having this pressure from others really does allow for a sense of freedom that someone enamored by being known doesn't quite have. I mean, Elon Musk smoked weed for 2 minutes on Joe Rogan's podcast and Tesla stock dropped over 9%. Imagine having that level of attention on you where you can't even live a normal life. And this is exactly what I mean when I say that comparing yourself to people online or on social media is a pointless endeavor. Sure, the fame and opportunities seem great, but is it really worth it when you're being followed and judged every single moment of your life? But that's just the surface of this stuff. I want to dive a bit further into the nonconformity thing. See, a majority of people are average. I mean, that's literally the definition of average, so there's no denying that. So, when you have specific interests, goals, and passions that don't align with the average person, it seems like a majority of the people are against you and that you don't really fit in with anyone. And I think this is one of the problems causing the loneliness epidemic in modern Western society. And this doesn't mean that you can't relate across the board and that nobody understands even a sliver of who you are. It just means that some things don't align, and every time these things don't align, you get some tension and anxiety from it. For example, when I told my friends that I bought a few albums on iTunes for the first time in like 10 years, because I'm not a fan of DRM and wanted to actually own some of my favorite music, they literally started laughing at me. Sure, I don't expect them to buy music that they really like, but that's my mentality on DRM and that's why I did it. I just wanted to share the experience with them, but because this action didn't align with the other aspects of my personality that these friends already knew about me, they judged my actions since they didn't conform to the ideas that they followed. Why would you buy music? Why don't you just use Apple Music like the rest of us? And this is the thing with being a true nonconformist and doing this across the board. You will have a lot of people who attack or judge you. I heard something on a podcast about a story involving monkeys in a science experiment. Basically, these monkeys were put into a cage that had food at the top of a tree. But the scientists shocked the monkeys every time they tried to climb the tree. So, obviously, the monkeys stopped trying to climb the tree to get the food. They then took some of the monkeys out and put new ones in, and of course, the new ones, seeing the food, also tried to climb the tree. And they as well got shocked. But eventually, they stopped shocking the monkeys, and since the monkeys obviously knew that they got shocked in the past, they still didn't climb the tree. But here's where things get interesting. They started taking some of the old monkeys out and putting new ones in, new ones that had never gotten shocked. When these new ones saw the food, they also tried to climb, but this time there was no shock. However, the monkeys that did get shocked started pulling the new ones out of the trees and beating them up. And the funny thing is, eventually, none of the monkeys in the cage had ever been shocked. They took out all of the ones that ever got shocked, and all the ones that were in there literally had never had that experience. But yet, when new ones were introduced every single time, the herd mentality of the ones that were still in there still pulled them down and beat them up, even though, like I said, none of them had ever gotten shocked at all. And this is conforming personified. When you do things that society at large doesn't agree with, they will pull you down from the tree and attack you every single time, even if they don't know why they're against the thing that you're doing in the first place. And being unknown means that these monkeys aren't there to judge you at all. So now, once you climb the tree and make it to the top, you'll feel like you accomplished something amazing. But guess what? Being a nonconformist doesn't mean being alone. Because little did you know, there was an entirely different group of monkeys at the top of the tree that have been chilling there the entire time. You couldn't see these monkeys from the ground, but now that you're at the top, you see how great they've had it. There's not only bananas up there, but there's every fruit imaginable. And that's the thing. Being a nonconformist may seem lonely, but that's only the case because you're half committed to the act. You have the urge to do something different, to climb the tree, but you also care too much about what the other monkeys think. But once you finally break free and make it to the top, there's a whole community of other nonconformists out there that have been embracing and living this lifestyle, and you can now relate to them because of the challenge that you've just been through. These people aren't the normal ones. They are the above average people, the ones who align with you on more things and the ones that you can truly connect with. At first, you didn't think they were there, but now that you see them and are living the lifestyle that they're living, you can connect on a deeper level than you ever could with the normal people. The normal people will forget about you, and now, with you being unknown to them, you can live an authentic life and connect with the others who share your vision. And that, my friends, is the beauty of being unknown. Sure, this doesn't mean that you have to cut everyone off and live a life of isolation, because being around people is important. But it shows that you need to live a life authentic to yourself, and once you do, it will pay dividends. This topic was all over the place, but I really wanted to talk about it because it touched on a few things that have been on my mind lately. Did I miss anything? Do you have anything that you want to share with other people about living a life of nonconformity? Drop a comment and let me know. And if you like this talk, feel free to buy me a coffee by using the link in the description, and we will speak again soon.